Perfect. Hello, everyone. We are back, and I think that is going to be the last time in this year that we are going to be on with races. So let's enjoy this one. It's going to be very interesting. I'm Carlos Porcel from Granada, Spain, and with Adrian Fernandez. Hello, Adrian.
Hi, Carlos, and hello, everyone. Welcome to this final race of the 2021 season for GSIM Racing. And I am already hearing the bells jingling outside the window because Christmas is coming right out the window. Although Christmas music has already been being played since November, so it doesn't really matter. We're living in a 2-month Christmas. Anyway. We are right into the final few battles, the final few emotions, the final few battles for the win that we will have on this 2021 year that has been crazy in so many ways and so many different scenarios and situations. And let's see what our talented field will be able to deploy at the Hockenheimring, which will be the scenario for the final race. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it is the Hockenheimring.
Yeah. It is the venue. We already saw the drivers in the practice session yesterday in the practice race, and that we normally do Fridays. And today we are going to get to see them go around the track for 3 sessions in which they're going to have their respective practice qualifiers and race sessions. But the first 2 are going to be 15 minutes, and the last one is going to be a 30-minute session in which the drivers are also going to have to make a pit stop and for their little sip and go, in which they have to get their fuel as fast as possible and keep on going. Very interesting pit stop as well. The Sud curve, one of the points that it's going to differentiate some of the drivers. I think the way they are going to enter that pit lane is going to be quite an important factor.
Yeah.
But the thing is that today I think we're going to get a bit more of a reduced grid. We're going to be around 20, 30 drivers already. The holidays are kicking in, and we are having quite some drivers having to take off already for this last race. But we're going to see the top drivers in the competition for sure, because they have some deals to break down between them to finalize, and one of them is the leader, Jesus Cecilia, with Heart to Heart International, going
Long time
round.
no see for Jesus, who is back in the competition.
A couple of weeks at least. We're glad to see him back after being a bit ill the past week. He seems to be back on track, and I'm very glad to see that. And I would like to thank our sponsor for this event, which is Future Nissan of Folsom. So thank you very much to them for making this possible, as well as to all of our sponsors. So thank you very much for making this possible. We are really enjoying the driving, we are really enjoying the battles, and we are really enjoying the opportunity to show the world all of our sponsors, all of our cars, drivers, all of the action, and of course to be able here, myself and Adrian, to be able to be with you, the viewers, in every stream. So thank you very much for staying with us throughout the whole season. If you did, thank you very much 2 times, and we'll get to see how this one ends. One of the drivers we already had in the practice sessions yesterday, Manuel Parenta Lopez, today with the number 14, driving for the Regency Beauty Pageant. And it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers that we normally get to see in the mid pack get to pair up today with a bit of a more reduced pack. What do you think about that, Adrian?
Yeah, there's a few variations that are very interesting to the field for this event. I think we are going to see some drivers that have been more accustomed to fighting for a top 10 spot in the last few events. Finally getting a crack at a top 5 or even a podium if the opportunity comes along. There's still some of the heavy hitters in the championship going on, but some others have either gone into Christmas vacation, into holidays, or are competing in parallel events. So there's an opportunity for people like Coldo Gonzalez, like Adrian Baeza, like Alex Arteaga, and some others that are usually knocking on the door and that could probably snatch a good result on either of the three races that we have today. But of course, I think that we will see a continuation of the battles that we saw between Jesus Sicilia and David Perez for the last few events. Although, as we said, Sicilia was not here. At least his brother was, but not himself, because he was under the weather, which is an expression that I love. And let's see if he is able to bring the storm to Germany.
Yeah, and quite a storm we have today in the streaming lab, we can say, in which where Chris Houston, which is streaming today. So let's just cross our fingers and let's hope that the storm doesn't bring the stream down. We are going to be streaming through it, and as soon as I say it, we get a little bit of a... Okay. Let's hope it doesn't happen. Let's just cross our fingers, as I was saying.
I skipped a heartbeat during that brief stoppage. I gotta say, I really thought that tornado had just engulfed Chris's house. But hopefully, as we see that's not the case, we're seeing David Perez running by himself, trying to get this first practice laps on the Hockenheim, which is a fantastic racetrack. I have to say, one of the best venues, I think, in all of Europe to go racing. It is not as mighty as it used to be just before 2002 when it was remodeled. Back in the day, it was a 7-kilometer racetrack where long straights that went deep into the forest. Now it is a more comprised version of that, of a little more than 4-kilometer long, 2.5 mile long for American audience. But it is still a racetrack where you see lots of good overtaking opportunities, also opportunities to re-overtake someone that has already passed you, and it has some iconic corners, just like this banked section through the stadium in front of the people, and it's has been home to so many great Formula One events and motorsport events overall. So this is a fantastic racetrack to end our 2021 season.
Yep, very well balanced track in which we are going to have a chance to see all of our drivers show all of their technique in every part of it. The first sector very fast, the second quite a medium to slow sector, and then the third it gets to be a technical one. So there we are going to ensure that all of our drivers give us a bit of a wide spectrum of different situations, which I think we're going to get to see. It's interesting to see the points also. Jesus Sicilia very high on top and very distant to Jonathan Alvarez, the man following, but from far behind. 2,000 points and 2,092 points for Jonathan Alvarez, and Jesus Sicilia with 2,800 in the lead of the championship. So I think we can already congratulate my dear companion Jesus Sicilia here in GSM Racing. I'm glad to see him operate as expected, which is what we normally get is a first position with Jesus, but this season we had quite a hiccup in Silverstone with the speed limits, and Laguna Seca was another one of the places where he didn't get to complete the perfect runs he's doing throughout the whole season, but in the rest of events, every time first. So that's something to be aware of.
We have to say that Jonathan Alvarez is also not present for this event. He is already off for the final race of the season, but he is almost assured of that second place in the standings because he has an almost 300-point lead for that runner-up position over Victor de la Fuente. Victor will essentially have to snatch all 3 wins in this final event to finish as the runner-up of the season by just 3 points. So it is possible, it is within the realm of possibilities, but it's very, very difficult that we see Jesus Sicilia conceding defeat in all of those 3 races, and especially with the strength of the rest of the field. There's also quite a bit of an interesting battle for 4th place, as we see David Perez within 21 points of Jose Manuel Sicilia, so he could very well overtake him for 4th, and also some of the other positions that are behind Juan Jose Sanchez, Adrián Baeza in 8th, he could leap over Manu Rayo Largo, who is also not present. There could be quite of a healthy shake-up from 4th onwards. Backwards, sorry.
Yeah, going to be complicated for all of those drivers on top to finish the race today. That's going to be one sure fact. But we already have in the practice session, as we are watching Gerard Sardeni with that Bikini USA car, the number 31, going round the track, as well as Ivan Bolavivero with the Payne Stewart Kit Golf's Academy, the number 28. A lot of cars already going round the track, more than 30, if I'm not wrong. So we are still going to get a show. And that's what we've been getting throughout the whole season. We've been having very interesting starts to the race, especially one of the last ones, Road Atlanta, the last one, as a matter of fact. Very interesting racing in there, wasn't it, Adrian?
You say it. It was fantastic. Great battles for the lead in all of the 3 races, and they were very heated. They were very different. No battle was similar to the other, and the drivers were essentially using that final chicane, but they were also passing each other before the S's, through the S's, after the S's, and on the section of corners there before the final straight. And it was a very compelling event. We saw lots of equality on the front. All of them trying to take advantage of Jesus Sicilia not being there, and in fact we had 3 different winners, so that pretty much sums it up. Now they have the sheriff back in town, and they are gonna have a harder time trying to take his head away from him.
Yeah, that's quite sure. It's going to be interesting to see how the deputies get to be sheriff today, but as you said, Adrian, but it's been interesting to see the evolution of the whole group following that leader that has been Jesus Sicilia, and we've seen every race, maybe just because they get to train more one week or the other, they don't get as much time, but it's has become really interesting to see how they get close to Jesus. Like today, very close, as a matter of fact, less than 0.2 of a second. So we still have a battle. We still have battles. I mean, and Jesus is going to have to fight to survive in the front.
And there's also the bragging rights. You want to go into the holidays saying, right, I won the last race of the season. I won a battle against Sicilia. You know, drivers are very, very selfish and very self-centered on the fact that they want always to be the best, the fastest. They don't want to go into a 3-week slate of non-championship races or a downtime within the family thinking, well, I should have turned better in that corner and we'll finish finish 7th. And he's thinking that while he's eating turkey in the dinner with the family. That's how racing drivers are. Their mindsets are very focused into racing, even in sim racing. And I'm pretty sure that we're going to see drivers, the drivers that have turned up, which is a very healthy grade in number considering how late in the year we are. They are all going to put their best to get the best result possible.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a surprise to be unveiled. Let's see what happens. We get to see Jonathan Alvarez, the number 34,
There's
back
Jonathan,
in action. Yeah. He wasn't on the list, but we get to see him go around today. I'm very glad to get to see him as well inside of the competing group, and it's going to give us more action for sure. Victor de la Fuente is well prepared as well, and David Perez is trying to improve to get in the top 3 in the practice session. This is something we always discuss, what happens with that practice time. What difference does it make for them when they go out in the qualifying session? But it's interesting already to see quite fast times in the timetable, and as time goes by as well in the commentary booth, I will remind all of our viewers that you can visit allgratefulhearts.org to check all of the information and to donate. If you do donate for all of the causes that Grateful Hearts has ongoing for all of the people in need after the COVID-19 pandemic, you'll be able to participate in the raffles, as we are watching Victor de la Fuente having a little bit of a half spin and having to get out of the track. It lets us know that nothing is 100% certain in races, and that's why we have that GHA jackpot in the last round. If you do participate in the raffles through those donations, you will get tokens that will lead you to that GHA jackpot, in which we will give away those $10,000 to the person that gets those 6 numbers right at the end of the last session. The first 4 numbers will be composed by the first 4 drivers in that last session, and the last 2 numbers will be picked randomly. So good luck to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, taking part on the GHA jackpot. Good luck if you do so, and thanks if you are donating on Grateful Hearts and allgratefulhearts.org. So there we go, and we are watching Alex Arteaga, number 23, with Be Social going through the first sector. This is going to be the fast one, and as they go through it, they're going to approach that hairpin that is going to give them a chance to overtake.
There's Francisco Javier Gonzalez, and also another of our regular racers into the top 10 for this practice session, 1.5 seconds behind Jesus Sicilia, which is leading this session with just a tenth of a second faster than Jonathan Alvarez. Of course, we know that everyone is taking contempt on handling the cars, trying to find a lot of things and testing things. They're not going for the ultimate lap time. That, of course, is going to happen into the qualifying session. As we see right now, Miguel Maroto going backwards into the drag section. You know that Hockenheimring has a drag straight that is seldom used, but it is there, just between the entry of the stadium section and the final corner of the racetrack. And as we were saying, there's still that looking for something that goes on between this session and the first qualifying that will lead us to the races. As you said earlier, Carlos, 50-minute races, 50 minutes, sorry, for the first two events, 30 minutes for the third one, with that pit stop that will be mandatory due to the limited fuel tanks that they will have. And I think that, of course, today we are going to see again that contrast between how drivers face those shorter races and the ones that take a greater focus on the management that will be taking place in the third race.
Yeah, and it's going to be quite a question, as we had on Road Atlanta, how they are going to manage their fuel, because they had to do that much better. Some of the drivers having to stop 2 times, since the quantity of fuel was really short and they really had to manage.
We saw a couple of drivers actually very close to running out of fuel while running in the top 10, and one of the front runners. So it is not something that we say just because we want to create hype. This is a real concern for them to be able to create that mileage.
They really have to measure the way they push the pace. They're going to have to stop for sure, the way they have everything configured now, and they will be having to make the decision when to enter, 1 lap before, 1 lap after, and that's really something that could change their fate in the race. David Perez, Alca Products, the number 19, one of the drivers that has been climbing up to the top 5 every time, and with a fierce attitude in every occasion. And we do get to see David Perez every time he gets a chance. He tries to make that overtake, although we've been seeing him having to make wise decisions as well. It's not only about going through without thinking. He really premeditates what he's going to do, but apart from that, we know that he doesn't hesitate too much.
We're into those situations where you know that the drivers will really need to find the limit in this race. It is difficult to do so at Hockenheim, because it is a track that invites you to be a little bit aggressive. It looks wider than it actually is. The corners are quite deceptive on their angle, on the angle of attack, and they invite you to attack. And sometimes drivers are caught off by the particularities of how it is. And that will, I think that will create situations that could probably lead to crashes, but would also lead to great battles. And some drivers, if they are smart to do so, we've seen some cases of that throughout the season. Drivers that will take advantage of 2 other drivers battling and try to take the spot from the 2 of them and gain, do a 2+1, as we say here. So that I think is going to be one of the most interesting points of contention for the sprint races, at least, because I think the longer race will have a more strategic component, and the drivers will be much more calmer after 2 races of bumping and grinding.
Let's see how that goes, and we expect to see all of you in the next season as well. In the meantime, we will know more of our drivers, and we'll get to know more through the program that we are going to create, in which we are going to interview all of our drivers, talking esports, or let's talk esports. Not sure yet, but it's going to be called like that. That's why it's going to happen. That's what I can tell you for sure. So let's see if we get there as well, and we get to know more about drivers like Nacho Limordi, who has been fighting throughout the whole season in this top 10, and he's been going in and out of it, but he's been visiting quite often that top 10 row of cars. Nacho Limordi, number 17 with Kill Pop Radio, going around 2 wide. going around that last turn through the exit, very wide, and we are watching Adrian Baez as well with Be Social, the number 16. Another one of the drivers in the top 5, top 10, quite usually. And bringing it as well. One of the drivers that has been careful in most occasions, quite unfortunate in Sebring, and bringing us quite an interesting load of action with Adrian Baez, Be Social with him. Another one of the top 5 drivers, and right now Jesus Sicilia, Jonathan Alvarez, Victor de la Fuente, David Perez, and Adrian Baez on the top 5, following Ricardo Marina Rollon, Antonio Jesus Villalón, Jesus González, if I'm not wrong, and Alberto Toribio Garcia, and Marcos Calvo, finishing that top 10, and still more than 20 drivers behind them. Around 35 drivers that we have today, as we've been approaching the holidays. It has been a bit more difficult to get the drivers inside of the competition, since they have to go home for Christmas time. So I hope that they do get to enjoy time with their families, and they get to enjoy themselves after a hard season of racing with us. And would like to take advantage of the situation right now to thank them. And let's hope to see them back again. We'll be starting with the races again in January, so stay tuned. And in the meantime, as I was saying, we'll be learning more about drivers like Xavier Herran or Jonathan Alvarez or Jesus Sicilia, drivers that we are used to see.
And this will be a slide Twitch exclusive, which we will not reveal too much just before we go on air on Vegas Live. But there are quite some changes coming into 2022 that I think will make the field and the competition way more interesting. Nothing is still yet finalized yet, and you will know appropriately as when Carlos or the great people at Gene Sim Racing decide to. But there's some very good things coming that we'll probably want you to keep updated, keep up with what we can, as you said, keep up with the space.
We'll be updated. We'll see what happens then, and we're going to take a quick little break for publicity. We'll be back in Las Vegas Live TV as well, so stay tuned, stay with us.